Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanfiction. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for His Dark Materials, Season 2, Episode 2, The Cave. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, what YouTube does takes out all the if I can speak, takes all the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of it is my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down there. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendifanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule. I post it up every week. I just changed it out today. And also all the links to my social media are there. So Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. No tier sip on the Patreon because I'm waiting until I hit 1,000 subscribers, and then I can give you something if you're giving me money. Also, I have the link to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and for those of you who still have Facebook, a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right, let's get to it, shall we? Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. All right. Yes. So I'm still finding Lyra really fucking annoying, quite honestly. Yes, her and Will go to Oxford. Will's Oxford, and he's very reluctant to go because, of course, he knows that he's killed somebody there. And yes, it was in self-defense and everything, but they end up going there, and Lyra immediately almost gets run over by a car because she just runs right out into traffic, kind of thing. And of course, he tells her, they need to keep Pan undercover. And so what happens is Pan is poking up out of the backpack the entire way. So everyone sees Pan as she's walking down the street. Yeah. So Will ends up getting a charger for his phone and sees all these text messages and decides to see how his mom is doing, and then also try and contact his dad's lawyer, who has been giving them the payments from the trust fund that they have set up. And so they decide to part ways. And she is going to go and find a scholar at St. Peter's College in order that she has the alethiometer where she needs to go. And also, the alethiometer tells her that they need to help him, Will, find his father, who is still alive. Yes. So she ends up going to she ends up going to the museum in Oxford and bumps into Carlos. And Carlos gives her a fake name, and she gives him a fake name, and he gives her a card and says, give me a call sometime. And they split ways. And so Lyra ends up going over to St. Peter's College, finding Mary Malone, who is a physicist studying dark matter. And basically, the alethiometer told her she needs to tell the entire truth. She can't lie to this scholar. And she is asking Mary about dust. She goes, I know. Basically, she's telling Mary everything all at once. Just diarrhea of the mouth. What happened in her world, what her world is like, that she's come from a different world and, has traveled between a window. And she says what she knows about dust as the original sin, and that the magisterium wants to destroy it and all this stuff. And Mary's like, well, yeah, that's not what I work with. I work with dark matter. And she says, and in particular, dark particles, shadow particles is what she says. And in this place called the Cave, which is a computer room, she had hooked herself up to it. And when she wasn't really thinking about anything in particular, or actually honing in on something, and as she put it, there's actually a really good line in here that she used, and I wrote it down. And of course, if I could find it, I probably won't be able to. Expectation without patience is what she says. As long as you're doing expectation without patience, that's when you will see the shadow particles. And she thinks that the shadow particles actually are conscious at this point. So she ends up getting Lyra and hooks her up to this machine. And Lyra gets the dark particles, the shadow particles, to actually talk. And they're talking in symbols. and they're basically telling her that Mary has a, you know, is very important. And also that her I Ching box that she's got is going to be needed, the sticks that she is using, because that is basically how they're going to communicate is through those sticks, the I Ching sticks, which already, if anyone has ever used the I Ching I mean, there's so many different interpretations. This is already screwed from the beginning if that's going to be the case. Um, which I thought was kind of funny, quite honestly. There are so many different interpretations you can get, even after pulling whatever sticks that you get, uh, or whatever sequences that you get. That it's open to interpretation, whatever it is that you're reading. Oh, and we also found out that Mary was a nun before she became a physicist, because most physicists are nuns. Um, sure, okay. In the meantime, Mrs. Coulter is setting up Father McPhail to become Cardinal McPhail. And he ends up, of course, ordering. There's a trial going on too, where they're basically purging all the witch spies out of the magisterium and arresting those people and putting them to hard labor. And excuse me. Essentially, the first act of Cardinal McPhail is to bomb Witch Island, where Serafina and Ruta are not there. They're actually off someplace else arguing about what they should do and how the veil between worlds is thinning, and they need to find Lyra because Lyra is the key to everything. A lot of people talk about Lyra and pass by her and everything, and yet no one does anything about this. And of course, Witch Island gets bombed to bejesus, and we see like napalm going off, and they come back just in time to watch the island explode into flames. Yeah. We also find out from Dr. Martin Lancelis. I can never Lancelius. There we go. Lancelius. That up in the far, far north, where demons can't go, that's where the witches go, the female witches, and they walk across this certain part of ice where they get separated from their demons without killing them. And it's supposed to be a ceremony. And they close up on Mrs. Coulter as soon as they say that. It's like, rip. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do anything like that. I don't know what you mean. And so we know that she actually went up to the north, the far north, and that's how she is separated from her demon, because she went through that ritual. Yes, we already know this. That's how we found this out. Will, in the meantime, goes and meets grandparents that he didn't know he had, and they ask entirely too many questions about his father, questions that everyone else has been asking who's been after him. And so he splits at this point, and he ends up talking to Lyra, and she's like, you know what? I'm never going to rat you out. I'm never going to turn you in. I've done that once, and I'm by your side now. She goes, I'm going to help you find your dad. Your dad's still alive. Yes, that's what the alethiometer tells me. She shows him the alethiometer, and she goes, and I'm here to help you. But we also need to go back to that machine in the cave and talk to dust a little bit more and find out what it wants, because there's different ways of talking to dust, is what she says at this point. And it's not the original sin that the magisterium thinks it is. And in the meantime, Mrs. Coulter comes to now Cardinal McPhail, who is thanking her for becoming cardinal and everything. And she goes, "Oh, no, no, no! Don't thank me. Fucking ignore me now of everything I'm going to do. Because if you say anything about me and try to stop what I'm going to do, I'm going to let everyone know that you killed Cardinal Studford. Studford? Yeah, the previous cardinal, basically." She goes, "I know all of that, and basically, I'll turn your ass in." And she struts out of the room, and she also finds out that Lyra has actually slipped between worlds. She is no longer in this world through Thorogood. Thorold. Thorold is his name. These people have some really, I mean, I have trouble with names as it is, and they have some fucked up names even on top of this. And she finds out that what Lord Asriel did, taking that kid and throwing him in the cell and lighting him up and releasing his dust and opening the portal between worlds. And she is off to go and find Lyra at this point. And that's where we leave off on this episode. Um, a little bit better for me this time around, and that's because things started picking up a little bit more, and we're getting to the point now where things are moving. Finally, things are happening. We're not spinning wheels, which is what it felt like the first season. It just felt like, yes, I know you're doing world building, but there's a way of doing world building and moving the story along as well, without just sitting there and having to do exposition all the time of what's going on. This is a cup. We don't call it a cup. We call it a blah blah blah. No, just fucking keep moving on. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do exposition all the time. And that's where this show sucks, is because it stops, like literally just kind of stops and has to tell you everything instead of having the motion forward and letting the actions of the characters tell you the story and also fill in the blanks as you're going through. And I'm fairly sure, again, I haven't read the book. I'm fairly sure the book fills this in a little bit better, which of course you can do with books, but I'm fairly sure the book actually moves along at a good pace and fills the stuff in as you're reading along. So, um, but whoever they're getting to do the second season here, it looks usually what ends up happening is the first episode of a new season is a hangover from the previous showrunner or the previous season's people, and then your second episode is where you start getting into the new people and the new showrunner, if there is a new showrunner, which it feels like there is. I mean, it feels a bit different. So better. Um, we're moving along with stuff, and like I said, I'm still not liking Lyra. She's a bit impulsive, which I know that's what the character is supposed to be, but still just kind of annoying, honestly. And Will just seems like, very reactionary. It's always one thing, it's anger. That's all it is. And dude, you need to stop for a little bit and just think about what you're doing. And you know and also we never got any resolution as to what the fuck happened to him on the in the other world where he had the specter behind him. What happened? Did the specter go inside of him? Is it really Will? We never got any of that resolution either. We just left that kind of hanging. And that was my main thing when I came into it. I'm like, wait, so we're just going along like nothing ever happened at the end of episode one there? Okay. Maybe we'll find out later on. I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, not the greatest of episodes, but like I said, I've seen a lot worse. Yeah, exactly, Pen. I want to know what the hell happened with the Spectre. And again, like I said, I have not read the books, so I do not know what's going to happen next. I don't know what to expect from this. Uh, so yeah, I'm just kind of I'm along for the ride, as they say. Yeah, I agree with you, Pen. And we have seen a lot worse. But so what else do I have going on this week? You've never read the books either, Pen? Yeah, I kind of figured that's how you go into some of this stuff. A lot of people like the Mandalorian haven't seen Star Wars: The Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels, or read any of the books or anything like that on Ahsoka or anything, and so they are going into what's happening now the same way I'm kind of going into, this his Dark Materials. Yeah. So speaking of which, what's going on for the rest of this week? Tomorrow is another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's yeah, I think I'm going to be doing Hulu. Hulu has rebooted the Animaniacs, and I've been watching it, and I haven't gotten through. There's 13 episodes, and I've gotten through about 6 episodes. We'll see if I get through it or not. Um, Wednesday, I'm going to be off, but I will be dropping a pre-recorded video Wednesday morning. What is that, you say? Well, what that's going to be is, um, I remember I said a lot of people don't know who the hell Ahsoka Tano is or, anything like that. Well, my primer is a new segment called Who in the Hell Is, and then Ahsoka Tano is going to be the first one. It's a half-hour little jaunty video going into the whole history of Ahsoka Tano. So if you haven't watched all of Clone Wars, if you haven't watched Rebels, if you haven't read this book over here called Ahsoka that's sitting down here, I talk about all of that stuff. So it kind of fills in your gap of knowledge up until episode 5, which is going to be on Friday. But before that, I'm actually going to be doing on Thursday, I'm going to be doing another episode of Is It Worth My Time? I don't know what I'm doing as of yet. That's going to be on the back burner for the moment. Friday will be The Mandalorian at a different time. I'm going to be doing it at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Why am I doing it at 11 a.m.? Because it's Thanksgiving week here, and I'm going to be off. So I'll be able to do it earlier. Yeah. Saturday is going to be Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any of the genre stuff you guys want to talk about, and we talk about it. Sunday I'll be off, and then we wrap back around again to his Dark Materials on Monday. So yeah. Wasn't the final Clone Wars a pre-recorded video? Joe, it ended up being a pre-recorded video because my internet connection crapped out on me so often during the live stream that it was like, yeah, it was just really, really bad. And so I trashed it, and then I just did one where I recorded it on my computer here and uploaded it. That was the easiest way of doing it. Yeah. Yes, I've done a planned pre-recorded video before. I did uh Comic-Con survival guide. Um what else have I done? Actually, I think that's the only one I did that was planned was the Comic-Con survival guide with graphics and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, you were there for the live version. Yeah, I remember. And yeah, it was crapping out completely, and I was like, yeah, this is unusable. Yeah. But yeah, this one should be good. This, and again, my pronunciation of stuff, yes, sucks. I understand that. And I know people are gonna hammer me on it. I don't give a shit, quite honestly. Uh, you gotta deal with it sometimes, you know? Uh, Hooked on phonics worked for me too. So that's all I can say. Yeah, I suck at pronunciation. I understand that. It happens. But it's gonna be a good action. It's gonna be a solid packed half hour of nothing but information. It'll be an information dump for those of you who don't know who in the hell Ahsoka Tano is. So, yeah. That's gonna be Wednesday morning, I believe. I'll dump that out there. Mhm. So, yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. Thank you to everybody who joined me tonight in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about joining, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're down there, if you can, hit that like button and the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm be on live again next, you hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule that's up there. Also, all the links to my social media are there. All the links to my pages, this YouTube channel, Facebook, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. So until tomorrow, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find out that the alethiometer is just basically going to lead you to the I Ching, which is going to lead you to a lot of verses that probably aren't going to make that much sense unless you try and put your own interpretation to them. And then it's just going to get messy from there. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, and wear a mask. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.